probably because she was hurt and probably because she was last year's Time Magazine Athlete of the Year. Well, I'm here to tell you they decided to go with another WNBA star. That was A'ja Wilson. Now, A'ja Wilson, to me, shouldn't have got it, bro. She got help from the WNBA referees throughout the whole entire season. Everybody act like they forget that. I mean, they hella cheated against the Fever.
Oh, right. So let's take a moment to really unpack what's happening here, because this isn't some light remark or random throwaway line people are reacting to. This is actual frustration that's been building steadily for months, and you can sense it in every single discussion surrounding this entire situation. What you're about to see is one of those rare moments where an entire fan base, millions of dedicated supporters who've been following every game and memorizing every stat, suddenly experienced a collective shock. And that moment made something crystal clear. No matter what Caitlin Clark does on the court, no matter how many records she shatters or
the growth of the WNBA, pretty much saying that they was going on an upward trajectory before Caitlin Clark got there. Now, here's my answer to it all. I've been following this thing for the last 2.5 years, almost 3 years, and the WNBA died when Caitlin Clark genre took a hit this past season. Caitlin Clark only playing 13 games ultimately killed the WNBA viewership. Look at everybody's numbers. Like the numbers don't lie. Had Caitlin Clark balled out and had a spectacular season in the Indiana Fever, won
how many arenas she manages to sell out across the country, there is a portion of the WNBA establishment that simply will not, and I mean will not, acknowledge the credit she deserves. It's like watching someone drop 50 points and still hearing people say, yeah, but let's focus on everyone else. Time Magazine just announced their 2025 Athlete of the Year, and they awarded the honor to A'ja Wilson. Now, here's the thing. The award itself, the recognition of her performance and dominance, isn't what triggered the massive debate that has casual fans and analysts locked in arguments right now. No. What sent shockwaves across the basketball world and split people into opposing sides was what Wilson actually said in that interview about Clark. Those remarks are what pushed the entire community into this heated divide. Here's the situation.
And to see if Caitlin Clark's going to be the same Caitlin Clark we remember her to be at Iowa. Now, there was pictures going around yesterday, which we reported on, of Caitlin Clark losing a bunch of weight. Caitlin Clark looking like the old Caitlin Clark she was at Iowa. She lost all the muscle. It's all gone. I believe the muscle could have contributed to Caitlin Clark getting hurt this year. But that's neither here or there. I don't want to keep beating a dead drum. Now, with that being said, we know Caitlin Clark was one of the most Googled.
Time Magazine released their big feature on December 11th, 2024. And yes, A'ja Wilson earned her third MVP award, which is undeniably impressive. She also picked up her second Olympic gold in Paris and was named the tournament MVP on top of that. Those accomplishments are legitimate and absolutely worthy of recognition. And to be fair, no one with any sense is questioning her achievements or what she means to the league. But this is where things take a sharp turn. And by sharp, I mean controversial. Deep in the article, tucked away in a section many readers skimmed over at first, was a line claiming that Caitlin Clark contributed only 5% to the league's surge in popularity. Let me repeat, that 5%. The exact wording is important because it shapes the entire discussion. The article suggested Clark was almost single-handedly credited with rescuing the league, whose foundation was created by a mostly black player base. That specific phrasing, especially the word rescuing, carries a heavy implication. It suggests the WNBA was sinking, struggling to stay afloat, desperate for help until Clark arrived. And Wilson's reaction to that idea,
only part I found to be shocking was how far down she was. Now, this was the most Googled people in all of 2025. Now, I did a video on my other channel because, you know, I do support Shedeur Sanders, big advocate for him. So this was good for him, you know what I'm saying, and his brother Shiloh Sanders to be on this list. But this is bad for Caitlin Clark not to be in top 5 or top 10.
Pushback against how Clark's impact was being portrayed compared to the league's long history is what reignited deeper tensions that have been quietly bubbling beneath the surface for a while. But let's be honest and stick to actual numbers, because this shouldn't be about emotion or narrative or who people personally prefer. When Caitlin Clark went down with her knee injury in July 2024, which was devastating for her and her fans, WNBA viewership didn't just dip a little. It dropped by a massive 48%. Not a small slide, a collapse. The Indiana Fever were averaging 1.78 million viewers per game during Clark's rookie season, which is an absurdly high number for the league. But when she missed 13 games due to injury, the viewership dropped to just 394,000. To put that plainly, that's a gigantic fall, the kind that would give any TV executive a headache. ESPN even shifted how they calculated ratings, adding streaming metrics they hadn't counted before, trying to make the drop appear smaller. So they claimed a decline of only 5 to 6%. That may be technically true using their new system, but anyone watching the real numbers unfold week by week saw the actual impact instantly. Good for Sophie Cunningham, genuinely. She earned her rise. Now, here's where Wilson's comments reveal an even deeper divide within the league, something stretching far beyond statistics. She told Time, and this is a direct quote, "It wasn't a hit at me because I'm going to do me regardless, no matter what."
The most popular women's basketball player in the world. Now, let's move on to the story of the hour. The story of the hour is, as soon as you type Caitlin Clark name on X, find this: fan defends Caitlin Clark passes shooting. Van Shea said it this. So this is the article that came out with Asia Wilson being on the cover. So this was it, and this is it. And I don't really care for Asia Wilson, guys. I just got to be honest.
Anyone says, or what narratives people push, I'm going to win the MVP, I will win a gold medal. Y'all can't shake my resume, because my accomplishments speak for themselves. It was more about not losing the recipe, not losing the history and the foundation that generations of players built before this new attention. It was erased for a minute, and I don't like that at all, because we have so many women, incredible athletes who paved the way and lived through the league's struggles and growth. That perspective frames Clark's impact as something that erased the league's history, as if her success somehow damages the legacy of those who came before instead of adding to it. But that framing ignores a crucial reality. Before Clark played her first pro game, the league averaged 399,000 viewers. That's not a booming foundation. That's not a league thriving on long-term momentum. That's a league fighting for attention in a competitive sports environment. But the real issue, the one fueling this controversy, isn't just about ratings. It goes deeper. It's about how established players reacted to the person who boosted their salaries, expanded endorsements, and brought mainstream exposure the league had been chasing for decades. Clark endured relentless physical play during her rookie season. Game after game, she took hits that would have drawn immediate whistles for other players. Shoulder checks, hip checks, and flagrant contact went uncalled. Wilson's aces faced the Fever several times, and during their June 29th matchup, there was a moment everyone remembers. Clark drove to the rim, took an obvious foul, and the whistle never came. Even the broadcast crew was stunned. Wilson scored on the other end, and the refs moved on like nothing happened.
I can't shake my resume. It was more so let's not lose the recipe. Let's not lose the history. It was erased for a minute, and I don't like that, because we have tons of women that have been through this, blah, 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 blah. And it goes on to say, the 2025 WNBA campaign provided a measure of vindication of many players, despite Caitlin Clark missing most of the season with an injury, something Wilson, to be clear, did not cheer viewership for both the regular.
That pattern continued all season. Veteran stars received favorable whistles, while rookies, especially Clark, absorbed contact that others never would. And then there's Google Trends data, which directly contradicts the narrative that Clark's impact was exaggerated. Only one WNBA player ranked in the top 10 most Googled athletes in 2025, and it wasn't Clark. It was Sophie Cunningham at number 7, which is great for her. Clark didn't make the list because she was injured nearly the entire season. She played just 13 games before being sidelined. And the moment she stopped playing, fan interest plummeted, viewership tanked, engagement dropped worldwide. Wilson also said to Time, "The biggest thing for us, and I was happy about this, is that we continue to rise and maintain our level. This was just a matter of time. This growth and attention was inevitable." That statement reveals a misunderstanding of how sports popularity actually works. The WNBA had nearly 30 years to break into mainstream culture, and it never happened. Not with legends like Lisa Leslie or Diana Taurasi or Candace Parker or Breanna Stewart. Clark did something none of them managed. She brought the league into mainstream conversation in one season. Clark has consistently honored the black women who built the WNBA. She praised icons like Cheryl Swoops, Tamika Catchings, Maya Moore. After the Time controversy, Clark posted on Instagram on December 12th, saying, "Playing other sports is so good for my mind and body," with golf photos avoiding the drama entirely. But media doesn't care about grace. It thrives on conflict.
Let me see here, because A.J. Wilson said something about Caitlin Clark. Where did I see it? A.J. Wilson can't stop talking about Caitlin Clark in Super Woke Time. She still comes across as bitter, grateful. The big growth was 5% with Caitlin Clark. CC hurt. CC brought y'all new level painful that CC still has to deal with this. Yeah. They can't go without talking about Caitlin Clark, bro. I don't know, guys. I don't know.
Time framed Wilson as the face of the real WNBA and Clark as a short-term ratings boost, as if her popularity erased history. Clark is trapped. If she speaks, people accuse her of centering whiteness. If she stays silent, she's removed from the story. The numbers tell the truth. The WNBA's new media rights deal worth $2.2 billion over 11 years was negotiated right after Clark's rookie season. Networks openly cited her as a primary reason for tripling payments from $60 million a year to $200 million. Wilson and others benefited enormously. Wilson's following jumped 42%. Her endorsements grew, Aces games hit record viewership, and international WNBA interest soared by 63 to 200%. When Clark got injured, international attention fell by 56%. Wilson's growth was inevitable. Argument doesn't match reality. There was no mainstream breakthrough until Clark arrived. Clark's impact doesn't erase Wilson's MVPs or medals. Both can be true. But Time magazine amplified a rivalry that didn't need to exist. This debate won't go away.
Got thoughts about this, and I've been a person that's telling y'all this thing is not about race. They're trying to create it about race. Caitlin Clark is just a badass basketball player. You know, y'all know where I stand in it. You know, I support other black athletes. I didn't like Angel Reese. That's why I didn't support her. That don't make John a liquidator or racist. I just don't like her. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just simple as that. But guys, get down in the comment section. Let me know y'all thoughts about this. Keep them bells on. Like always, check.
When Clark returns healthy in 2026, the dynamic between her and the established stars will either elevate the league even more or send it back to pre-2024 numbers. So here's the real question. Was Aja Wilson wrong to claim Clark's impact was only 5%? Or is there a fair argument that the media exaggerated Clark's influence? Tell me what you think, because this discussion is far from finished.